Question number 6, the Honourable Peter Dunne.
Mr. Speaker, my question is to the Minister of Justice and asks, why were the Electoral Act 1993 and the Electoral Regulations 1996 excluded from the provisions of the Electronic Transactions Act 2002?
Honourable Judith Collins.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. A number of acts and provisions were deliberately excluded from the Electronic Transactions Act when it was passed in 2002 under another government. The Electoral Act and Electoral Regulations were among those exclusions. The reason for their exclusion was the importance of maintaining a very high level of integrity and public confidence in our electoral system. I accept that things have changed since 2002, and there is now a greater expectation for information to be received and stored electronically. We engage in electronic transactions and communications constantly with online banking, purchasing products, and even ordering passports. So, Mr. Speaker, I agree the time has come when we should also be looking at a greater use of electronic data for all aspects of our electoral system. I have asked my officials and the Electoral Commission to consider ways in which this can be achieved while maintaining the very necessary high levels of security and public confidence in the system.
Supplementary question, Honourable Peter
Speaker,
Dunne.
I was actually going to raise a point of order. It was quite difficult to hear the last couple of sentences of the Minister's answer, and I wonder whether she could repeat them, please.
Well, if the member had trouble hearing the last couple of sentences, they will be repeated, but it just goes to show it is not helpful when members are dissatisfied with the answer they're hearing to then let out a lot of interjection that makes it difficult for any member who particularly wants to hear the answers that have been given. Would the Honourable Minister repeat the last two sentences?
Last two sentences. I agree that time has come when we should also be looking into greater use of electronic data for all aspects of our electoral system, and I have asked my officials and the Electoral Commission to consider ways in which this can be achieved while retaining the very high levels of security and public confidence in the system.
Supplementary question, Mr. Speaker.
Supplementary question, the Honourable Peter Dunne.
Mr. Speaker, does the Minister's answer mean that she's prepared to look in the context of the forthcoming rewrite of the Electoral Act at changes to the law to ensure that where parties register members online, those memberships will be accepted as valid?
Order. Honourable Judith Collins.
Mr. Speaker, yes.
Question, Mr. Speaker.
Supplementary question, the Honourable Peter Dunne.
Is the Minister also prepared to consider, as part of that review or changes to that legislation, looking at providing for a mandatory audit by the Electoral Commission of all parties' membership once every 3 years?
Honourable Judith Collins.
Mr. Speaker, I haven't given that matter any thought, but it is a matter that I could always discuss with the Electoral Commission.
Question number 7, Phil Twyford.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.